To my babies, Tony and God above, it is time to let this truth out. These people need to be shown what I'm talking about. Lord above knows that this is their story coming through my mouth. That's it. I'm speaking of some things that they were not around for because they match what they said. You guys asked for chronological, I gave you that. In video, right from my mouth. I showed you where the kids said they're going to manipulate your family and friends, and they're talking about Tiffany and Nana because they said Mom and Nana are going to manipulate your family and friends, put us in a dangerous situation, and then get you in trouble for it. Who's been the only one looked at wrongly for this whole situation? Me. Now, do I have to walk you through those words again? Because you can look at the video yourself. David, Talon, and Kirsten are the ones agreeing to what Talon's saying. All of them. Nolan is just not old enough to even comprehend. He's in his room playing like he should be. He has no clue what that conversation is even about. At least I don't think he did because he didn't act like he did. And yes, that was result of vaccinations. My son was very, very intelligent. I'm not going to get into that. But it is time for the truth about these children and what happened to them and their uncle to be known. The ones out there surrounding the situation, and I'm talking about the paramedics, I'm talking about the police, I'm talking about everybody that was involved, the doctors, the nurses, everybody. The ones lying, you know who you are. We have maybe 60 to 100 years on this planet. If you really think that lying about these children and keeping things under wraps that would prove what happened to them is not going to be looked at or judged, you are sadly mistaken. I might have been a poor father because I gave everything to my girlfriends and my kids. The only reason they won't admit to that is because they know that that's going to show exactly what I'm saying. I am by myself. I am speaking of things 100% honest. I even spoke of where I made mistakes and how I made them. And that was no lie. That was 100% the truth. And anybody that ever wants to test that can put me on a polygraph anytime they want. The other ones are taking one too. And it is going to be by somebody that we all trust. Which I don't know anybody that does those. So it's going to be very hard for me to trust somebody. But now I'm just joking around about that part. I am being dead honest. I was not perfect, and I've told you all that. But I am damn sure not the reason any of these kids were hurt. And I will take that to my grave. And even if this situation gets my life taken somehow, some way, I stand on every fucking thing I said. I am one 5'7" Irishman fighting for his children. Jasmine, I am so sorry that this situation has taken up so much of my life and my time. But I hope you understand why. If something like this happened to you, it would have been the same way. I would have fought everybody to make sure you got the justice you deserve. Same with Kyle. I stayed away because all it did was make his life a living hell every time I come around. Because they had to scramble to manipulate so Kyle would not remember who his dad was. I don't know how I keep running into these women. I don't know. I tried not to, and that did not work. I still don't know what I did wrong. Probably not thinking clearly. But yes, that was my fault. I didn't want to be in my mom's house. I didn't want to be that close to everyone in this family. I wanted my own life because I was told I wasn't allowed to have it. Yeah, I might have did it a little wrong in the public's eyes, but I promise you, everything I did was the right way. What they did behind my back, I had no control over. And even police have gotten in trouble because they've noticed their spouse was doing something behind their back and they tried to get them to stop before they had to, you know, go legal with it. And sometimes they think they got it stopped and it's not. And yeah, it wasn't because I was stupid. It was because I was working so much. I wasn't always around. Once this stuff started, I compacted a 18-hour day into 6 to 7 hours because I started working for myself instead of my uncle. Even though I made decent money with him, I made better money and got done a hell of a lot quicker doing it myself. And that's how I was able to get home earlier. Because once I got quicker and completed jobs, of a decent amount of money in a quick time, he would stack the day and we would do sometimes 5 and 6 jobs in one day. And I'm talking about a couple $1,000 jobs. He was raking in money. I'm telling you. That's why I told you all it was like boot camp. But whatever. I'm not bitching. I'm just explaining. It made me a strong person. I am not upset about how hard I worked. I'm upset that he did that and took advantage of me. That's what I'm upset about. Yeah, when I first started in this trade, I was making $300 a week salary and I was working 100 to 120 hours a week. No overtime, nothing. And it was his rule that I had to put $200 away a week. Or, yeah, 200, not 100. It was 200 every week. I only had 100 to me every week. So basically, after putting that in the bank and getting $100 a week, okay, mind you, I'm working 100 hours to 120. Yes, I got 300, but not in my hand. So it was almost like I worked that whole week for $1 an hour or $3 an hour. If he would get an extra 20 hours out of me that week, which he would, he always wanted to work Saturday, and he would get 3 to 4 jobs in because it didn't take me long, to catch on and be able to install it by myself. And maybe a month or two when I first started, and after that, I was rolling. Well, sounds like puppies are awake. But I am being dead serious about what these kids said and how it matches up to everything I witnessed. She knew I was going to be there. I was the first person she called. Well, yeah, she's so scared of me, but she always runs to me when she's in trouble. Right. Okay. Nobody paying attention to that? Right. Jen did it too. She won't admit it, but she did. That's why I ended up driving her to Wes's right after a court hearing because she was about to get beat up by the people she was trying to give custody to and the other one she lied to, which was Leslie. They all were going to beat her up. But whatever, you know, that's all a lie, right? Yeah, of course it is. She don't tell you how she would get us in trouble and we would have to move because, not because of non-payment. I would move entire apartments myself. I would load the truck, every fucking thing in our apartment. I would take it to another apartment and set it all up myself. Dressers, beds, recliners, couches, love seats. I'm telling you, myself. Nobody balancing it on my shoulder and taking it up that shit. One of them was a third story apartment. I hated that apartment. But hey, I got to work out. But yeah, I did all that myself. Her dad was a witness to it. He drove the truck the one time because I didn't have a truck. I had a car, I didn't have a truck. And he was the one that drove. And no, I did not tie the mattress down well. It went for a flight, and I had to chase it. It was funny. Only once, though. After that, I got it. But that was me just rushing, and I didn't pay attention to how I tied my knot. I thought it was good, and it was not good. But yeah, I did all that myself. Waited on these women hand and foot while they were pregnant. I didn't abuse them. They were hungry. They got fed. They had clean clothes. You think they cleaned them? No. Tiff, sometimes. But she would get in these spurts where, dude, it could last for freaking months. And she wouldn't do a damn thing. Well, that's because she was depressed. No, it wasn't. She didn't have anything to be depressed about. She was just being lazy. I was there. She's getting everything she wants. She's laughing and playing with kids and her fiance in her own home. Really? What the hell does she have to be depressed about? She just got a brand new van. Really? Her life's going uphill big time. She's about to get married. She's supposed to be going to school for freaking being a cosmetic dentist, which all that was a lie. That was just more money besides what she was already getting. And nobody knows about that either. Why? Because she kept me isolated. She used all these things to alienate us from her family. Then she tried to alienate me from mine by starting trouble. And of course, I gave her the benefit of the doubt because she's my fiance and thought they were losing their minds. And because they were on some of it, but it's complicated. I've explained some of those situations before. I promise you, I am not the one who made these things complicated. I'm trying to untangle all of them for y'all. And like I said, you want to hook me up to a machine? Do it. That's why when I said it on TikTok, you had them going in a frenzy. They didn't say anything. They were quiet for days until Oh, all of a sudden, well, it's not submissible. One, I didn't say it because it was submissible. I said it because it proves a point. It's about the closest everybody's going to get. As far as I know, I don't know of anything else. Not unless we had a freaking drone flying over our heads the whole time it was happening. And they know that. That's what they're using. Benefit of the doubt. And that's what people are giving them because they're women. And what did I tell you? That's what they used against me the whole time. But yeah, that couldn't be the truth. Even though it's in just about fucking 80% of the videos and stories you hear online, or at least the ones I'm seeing. Maybe it's just my algorithm putting that in front of me. I don't know. I know there's bad males, but seems to be a lot more bad females getting away with a lot of things just because people are giving them the benefit of the doubt. Then they find out decades later that it was the other way around. Now there's an innocent person in jail, and this one's been able to run free for almost a decade or more. The one lady kidnapped her daughter for 40 years. Somehow, the husband still got her arrested for it after 40 years. Jen did it twice. I'm not allowed to press any charges because they won't file. They tell me I'm crazy. What? Then I got to tell people about it. Oh, well, they wouldn't do that. Something else is wrong here. Yeah, they're not doing their job. I don't know these people behind the counter. I don't know who they know in the community. I don't know who they're related to. But obviously, there's something there. What the fuck? Somebody just kidnapped a child, and you're going to tell me, oh, no. And right. You are right. That is so crazy to hear, isn't it? Yeah. Imagine my fucking reaction. I even went to the state police and I had this state trooper supposed to look into these things. I got a court order in my hand and he's just laughing at me. Now, I wish I did have a fucking camera on me. I really do. I'd probably get fucking tackled and arrested because, oh no, we're videoed not doing our job. These kids deserve justice. I'm not going to let up on that. I don't care what you put me through. I don't care how many times you try and threaten me. I'm not giving up on what they said and how it matches everything that went down. I will not. I absolutely will not. I will keep putting it out there until people pay attention. I will get this justice for these kids. I don't care if I'm 70 or 80. I am going to keep going because it is the truth and they deserve it. They went through absolute hell, and I will not sit here and act like it only happened because of an accident. No, it wasn't an accident, and I will not say that it was because it wasn't. These kids knew about it, they were afraid of it, they tried to go for help, and everybody shut the door in their face because they didn't believe that their mother was capable of doing this. Boy, how many times has that happened? Now people are desensitized because a lot of them believe that, oh, abortion should be allowed. If that ain't the devil trying to cover up what these people did, you all are blind. How the hell did all those things come into alignment at the same time and just cover up all these things happening to children? Oh, our justice system. That's why. And yeah, now I feel like an ass because I've heard stories about this and I've shaken my head and I'm like, there's got to be something we can do about that. That's when my kids were alive. I never, ever, ever for 1 second thought that my kids would be in that category, and now they are. And it's because the actions of other people, not of my own. My kids weren't around, so I went to work, which is what I was supposed to do. I took them every weekend, I played with them, I tried to help them grow, and this is what I get for it. Everybody's saying, oh, on TikTok, these girls got these people saying I ran from CPS when CPS was in and out of my home all the time. I fought CPS to get my son back. I fought CPS to get my daughter back, and I won both times. These females in the situation were the ones playing games and doing things deceitful. That's why Tiffany ran with David as soon as we got him back. Y'all don't believe that. That's exactly when we got him back. You can look that shit up too. It's in public record. She gonna run around saying that I'm the same thing that Jen's saying, but she gonna be at my house a month after putting that into a court order that I kept in place. Okay? Oh, she's so scared of me. I'm so dangerous, but she's at my house at 10 p.m. asking me to unlock the door and let her in because she's running from something she did out there. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. You guys aren't looking at things. Why are these women running to supposedly an abusive male that they're afraid of for help? Can someone explain that? You weren't there to visualize what I seen. I'm trying to relay it to you, but because I'm a male, oh, I'm lying automatically. Well, how come it's reported? And how come I've shown the fucking text messages from Tiffany at my house, repeatedly texting me, unlock the door, at 10, 11 o'clock at night when we have babies sleeping in here? I told you that's all she wanted to do was party and run. Right there it is. She's partying and running. She's lying about a fucking peace order. She wouldn't be at my house after putting in a peace order. I'm watching the kids. She's out running, gets in trouble, comes to my house, but she's got a peace order saying that I'm the devil. But she's coming here to sleep and get away from whatever the hell she just did. What? I have text messages from her. Oh, I'm not worried about you coming around the house. Then all of a sudden, a lie from her and her friend saying that we got into a fight that's not reported to police. There's no medical saying that she was hurt. Really? Okay. Then I have a dash cam that shows that exact date and the time that they said that this fight took place, and her friend's nowhere around. I'm holding Nolan and talking to Talon, and she's right there. Talon wants to go with his dad. This is when she was playing manipulative games with Talon and hurting him because he would not do the bad things that she was trying to get him to do. She was trying to get these kids to set up their dad, and they would not do it. David was helping her, but these three would not. And Nolan was just too young. So that's why she got mad at Talon, told people that he had a mental problem, and sent him to a mental home. Talon did not have any problems. She was using it as punishment to try and train him to do what she wanted. Not, that fight never took place. She used that in court. Courts believed it, all because she had her friend there as a witness that said it went down. But they didn't ask for a police report. They didn't ask for, pictures of bruising, anything like that. And when I said I have that exact date and time on dash cam and her friend Nikki is nowhere around, he would not accept it into evidence to be seen. This is a dash cam video of the date and time she just said this took place, and I have evidence that shows that it did not, but you won't allow it. That's what she did to block me from getting emergency custody of the kids just before this incident took place. None of you have looked into that. Everything she's doing is showing diversion, fraud, lying, manipulating. Okay, if she had nothing to do with it, why are you lying and manipulating so much? How did the kids know about it? How come everything they said, even though police and other people said that it was coerced and hearsay, so how come she did it? She let her mom drive. Her mom did it. She ended up getting vehicles and cash out of it, just like she said. Somebody will give me a vehicle. I didn't know she meant like that. I took it as she was trying to make people feel sorry for her by seeing her, walk around without a vehicle, even though you done wrecked four of them. But yeah, don't tell them that part, right? That's what I thought. I guess because that didn't work in the time that she wanted, they came up with this. And what are you talking about? You should have got her. I did. I got her fucking three of them. The fourth one came from some other dude. What are you talking about? Giving her 350 a fucking week, paying for all the kids' clothes, paying for anything they need at school, all this stuff. And I have records of all that. No, it wasn't court ordered. That's what I told that I would do. I didn't about the clothes and all that. I was going to buy the ones, that when they're with me, they have. But she would come up with, I don't have money to buy them school clothes or this and that. So I put them on the same schedule my mom did with us when we were kids. And I bought them new outfits in the fall and new outfits in the spring. And of course, clothes on their birthday. They always get, a few outfits because they tear stuff up. But shoes, the whole 9 yards, socks, underwear, everything. Even though she's pulling all this stuff and trying to manipulate these people into believing I'm some type of monster every time she calls me. Oh, my mom won't watch the kids. I can't go to work. All right, I'll switch my schedule around. I'll come get them. Really? Yeah, you got to work. Guess what? She was lying. She'd call her boss and say, well, I got to stay home with the kids. I couldn't find a sitter. And then she'd go out with her friends. And then wonder why she don't have no money. What? How the hell did you become a fucking manager with that type of work ethic? If I would have done that, I would have been fired. I even got it in text message from her when we're discussing stuff about the kids. Oh, I'm an assistant manager now. I can leave and do what I want. What? That's not a what? This is what I mean. This is privileges that these women are getting at workplaces that if a dude got those, he wouldn't be employed. Sleeping in the back room until it's time to close and everybody gives you promotions. What? I thought it was called work, not napping. Yeah, that's what she did at her one job. Of course she was there for a year. She didn't do anything. Shit, if I could go to work, get paid, and get promoted, and get pay raises and shit, and all I gotta do is go in the back and sleep, oh, dude, that would be. I don't know. I got ADHD. I don't think I could do that for too long. But I enjoy it for a while. I'm getting paid to sleep, wake up, and lock a door. Wow. That's got to be next level manipulation going on there. How the hell? Yeah, I'm taking care of the kids, working jobs on the side. Yeah, that's what happened after she wrecked our car. I wouldn't stop running my business, so she said she had something to do. She intentionally wrecked the car. At the time, I thought it was a little fishy, but I gave her benefit of the doubt. This is why I know they use benefit of the doubt to get away with what they're really doing. I've never done that. Uh, Doing that means you're diverting accountability. And look at, sorry y'all weren't there looking over my shoulder at all these situations, but I'm trying to give you a clear picture. Tiff used to get mad at me too because I would bring things to her attention and she would tell me, well, you act like you didn't have anything to do. I said, I didn't. This, and this is all you. I'm just showing you how to fix it so it doesn't happen that way again. Oh, you're so perfect, you do nothing wrong. No, I do a lot wrong, but I'm also able to fix it. And she'd get mad at me for that. And I like to be as precise as I can. What is wrong with that? I mean, yeah, when things don't work out, I got to find other ways to do it. I'm like, all right, let it go for now. You know, Till an opportunity comes up that I can, you know, try for it again. And then I'm like, all right, looks like everything's aligning to try this again. So we try to see if we can get it to work. And it works. So you keep it running. Like running a business or, working on a car and you can't get a bolt out. You try different methods until something works. Some of my methods are within the confines of morality. Theirs were not. And I get it. It's cool to grow up on the streets and know that that's what people are like. But you don't become them, and that's where you become a hood rat. Right there, you cross that line instead of learning from it and knowing that there's people are out there and knowing that you don't want to be that type of piece of crap person. They decided to go with it and make it a way of life. What? I don't know. I guess something's wrong with me. I wouldn't be able to live with myself like that. That's insane. How anybody would want to live their life like that to me is insane. You don't have to. Even if you're poor, you can find ways to get out of it. And no, you don't have to build a business selling drugs. I did it. I didn't build a business selling drugs. I stayed the hell away from selling drugs. Think it wasn't offered to me? It was. It was pushed on me heavily by my older siblings around me. I'd tell them all the time, you're fucking stupid. You smoke weed. Yeah, but I'm not an addict. You guys act like it's life or death It's a whole way of life, man. Which I goof off with that stuff because some of it's kind of funny, but I don't think like that. It could go away tomorrow. I'd be like, oh well. These guys be like, no, or whining and crying about it. I'd be like, oh well. I like drinking a beer every now and again. I don't like drinking it every night or anything like that. But if all of a sudden it was outlawed, I'd be like, oh well. Cigarettes, they are the same. I've sat those things down and walked away from them plenty of times just because people wanted me to. I did it once for over a year just because somebody said I couldn't do it. They tried to say I had an addictive personality, and that's why I'm addicted to cigarettes. And I said, oh yeah. And I sat him down. I didn't touch him for a whole year, and he's like, I'm proud of you, man. You quit. I said, I didn't quit. I said, I did that to show you these things don't control me. Just because I like them doesn't mean they control me. And no, they're not good for my body, but so is half the other stuff we do out there. Um, I enjoy cigarettes because I was so happy to smell cigarettes and perfume when my mom would come home. And to me, it's a familiar thing in smell. And yeah, that might be kind of weird or stupid or whatever you all want to think, but I don't know. That's why I like cigarettes. Not only that, I like cigars. Every once in a while, I like to smoke a nice cigar. Is it healthy for me? No. Do I like it? Yeah. Why? I have no clue. It's relaxing though. Tell you that much. Just to sit back. I could just sit back and not smoke anything and be fine too. I don't know. Every once in a while, it just feels kind of nice. I'm a nobody because I chose to stay a nobody to a certain extent. I didn't want a whole bunch of attention from a lot of people or to be rich, famous, and, even semi rich and kind of famous. I didn't really like, all the attention and uh, reputation I was getting from doing floors and handyman services, which I'm still doing them. It's just nowhere near the pace I was. And I don't really do them for money anymore. I do them for trades because it's just a whole nother thing. Yeah, one lady was having company come over and she wanted her leaves raked up and removed so her property would look nice when her family came in. She asked me, how much I want it. And I said, I don't know, whatever you want to give me for it. So I did it and I got done. And she offered me money and a box of like little cakes. And I said, I'll take the cakes. She said, you don't want the money? I said, nope, don't want that. Yeah, well, a lot better than money. Money is demonic. Think I'm crazy all you want. These kids deserve justice for what happened to them. It was set up, it was planned. I Not sure if they planned on them dying or not, but these kids were about to go to court against them. So was Tony. And it's just very, very weird how this went down before we could get that together. And I was only doing that because the kids said they were scared. And because of what I seen Tiffany doing, I felt she needed to get some help. And she wouldn't listen to me, which is why I was pushing for it, but not like legally hard until the kids started saying they were scared. And for some reason, that just looked like a 5-year old fight over children instead of what it really was. That's what, you know, it seemed like the police and all them were taking it as. Because when my daughter ended up in an accident up here on the road I live on, um, she asked for her dad. She didn't want her mom, she wanted her dad. And the cop said, I'm not taking you to your dad. So something's getting around at that point of where that cop said that to my daughter. And it upset her a lot because she didn't want to go to her mom. She didn't feel safe around her mom. And she happened to get into a church van accident and a bus accident where in both cases she she was, well, the bus accident she got a little bit bruised up, but the church van accident she didn't really get bruised up, she just got shooken up. And that was another motive for her mother to be a part of this too, because Kirsten was getting $30,000 from that. Well, 28 and some change, but her mother knew that she couldn't touch it. And guess what this did? It gave it right to her. Yeah. So I'm telling y'all, they got a lot of motive. A lot of motive. And if they were both in on it, of course Tiffany wasn't there when the accident took place. She didn't want to see it. Not only that, they needed somebody to have an alibi and be able to take control of all the money coming in, and that would be Tiffany. There you go. And yes, all the facts are there. Look at them. BPD will do things like that to get attention so they don't have to work as hard and to destroy a relationship. And she got all those things with these acts that she's acting like she didn't know about and weren't a part of, which she did. I'm telling you right now, she knew. I don't know if she knew they were going to pass. I can't really prove that part, but I can prove they set this up, and it was for those reasons. And I think she did want something like that to happen to Kirsten because there's no other way she would have got her money unless it did. And she took all of it, and she fought tooth and nail for every cent. I was trying to prove all that to y'all. She's not acting like a grieving mother. She's acting like a greedy ass fucking psycho. And none of y'all paid attention. If I'm lying, why is she acting like that? I've proven that they were never abused. I've proven that all that was a lie. Nobody wants to listen. And you think they can't fool you? Huh. They've got a lot of people fooled. That's how they're getting away with this. So these are the facts. And the kids pointed it out first. That is the only way I even know about it, even looking in this direction, is because of what they said. If they would have never said they were scared or put that video up or, make me record them saying that, and they asked for it. All those videos I did of them saying that, they asked for that. I didn't do it because I wanted to. They said, Dad, this is what Mom's doing, and you need to know. And that was from Kirsten's mouth. That was from David's mouth as well, and Talon's. They all are in front of me talking. Kirsten said it. David and Talon agreed. David is alive, and David knows what I'm talking about. Whether he'll ever actually speak the truth is on him, but he knows. And no, he didn't have any head injuries, so there's no problem with memory. If he says he can't remember, he's lying. He knows and he remembers, and I'm telling you right now. Oh, some tragic. No, he knows. It looks like you guys use statistics just to give them benefit of the doubt. That's not what's going on here. A lot of times a tragedy like that sticks in your mind. So, and a brother that just climbed over his uncle, his brother and sister that are deceased, and watched his grandmother laid over in a vehicle and climbs out, is not going to sleep good at night, is not going to, you know, be all happy and giddy and act like a weight has been lifted off his shoulders. And trust me, I showed you the video of us playing chess. I told you I was the one who took care of him at his mother's house after that was done because she was leaving him alone. And even before she went back, I was still there helping him. That means I'm not working that much because I'm handling this. Now, mind you, this is all her mother and her doing. This is under their watch and their control, everything under their control. I am, shoot, at least a couple miles away. Well, my home, well, where I was staying anyway, but where I was working, I was further. And I didn't get home until about 8:30. And that's when I got a text from David. He was all upset about something his mother had told him that he shouldn't have known. Then all of a sudden, 15 minutes later, I get a call from Tiffany telling me that they're not home yet and she feels something bad has happened. So she deliberately takes me around the spot of the accident or the incident to her mom's house and wouldn't let me, scan the whole route that they take. Because that's the route they always take. Always. How do I know that? That's what Tiffany said. So, yes, I'm taking her for her word, and that's where they were when it happened. I found out after Tiffany diverted me. And yes, y'all, she diverted me. She did this at about 9:30, maybe 9:32, and they said that this incident took place at 9:34, and it's not even that far away from the back of her development. She would have heard it. So that means when we went to her mom's house looking for them, by the cops' count, that's when it happened. So you diverted me why it took place. But you were supposed to be at work until at least 11. You're standing outside your apartment dressed in your work uniform when you still have an hour and a half left of work. I don't get it. If she had worked earlier that day, the early shift, which is not her shift, let's say she did, why are you getting off at 9 or 8? Wouldn't they have been home with you earlier? you would have been off around 3, maybe 4, at the latest 5 or 6. That's what I mean. Her saying she was working and the time she normally gets off doesn't add up. The fact that she diverted me from the actual spot that everything went down minutes before the police said that it went down, which they could be off by a few minutes. How do I know she didn't hear it, then call me and divert me away from where she heard it? Now, that is speculation, that she heard it. But the other parts are not speculation. I watched her do this deliberately. She deliberately wasted time at an empty house where she knew nobody was at. But that's where she wanted to go first, and she wanted to go around the situation and waste that time. Even though the other route would have taken us to the same destination. Like I said, there are a lot of things that prove that what those kids said is 100% what happened. You could kind of call that their last words, crying out for help. Their dad's powerless because something like that I have to send through the police. And the police want to play a laughing game. The state police were here because the kids were saying that they were scared to go home. And she brought Nikki's car to come get them, and I called the state police. And when they got here, the police talked to me, talked to the kids, said that they didn't care about me, they didn't care about her. All they cared about was the kids. Kids are telling them they're scared to death. They walk out there, they come back in, and they told me that I had to put them in the car. I said, what do you mean I got to put them in the car? He said, you need to walk out there and put them in the car. I said, well, the only one that's got to be put in the car is Nolan, and he can walk. So I walked out there, I put Nolan in his car seat, clipped them all in, told them all I love them. If anything happens, get a hold of me. And they're crying, all of them, in front of these cops because they don't want to go. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all think, what, it was just conversation? No. There was multiple times state police and sheriffs were told. Multiple. They all ignored it. Same thing they did with Jazz. They all ignored it. This is their job. Did they do it? No. Well, you're supposed to go to the commissioner after that. Tried to go to the commissioner. They wanted to play games. The first one told me I had to write down the charges I think, need to be pressed. I'm like, I'm not a lawyer. That's your guys' domain. And he got mad at me. So I said, all right. So I wrote that down. And by the time the other commissioner come around, he said, you can't write that. That's for our job. I said, well, yeah, that's what I told the other guy, but he said I had to write it. He's like, well, you got to read. I've redone it 3 times. And then they tried to tell me that state's attorney wasn't going to do anything about it. Nothing. I'm like, they haven't even seen the evidence I have. What do you mean you're not going to, you don't even want to look at it? But these bitches go up there with some harebrained story, and the next thing you know, they're all over me. And I even got court proceedings. I will show you that I have already proven that they are attacking me because they don't want out what they're doing, what they're covering up. They know they're in trouble for this. And if they keep this facade up, they're going to get away with it legally. That's why they've been nailing me and pushing me and messing with me for 7 years. Yep, they think if they get enough judges to believe them, that it'll prove me uncredible. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to prove or make people believe that I'm not credible. Imagine that. You're trying to do that without looking at the facts? That's hilarious. Like I said, y'all can have an opinion about me all you want. I can guarantee it's 100% wrong. And it's because you're listening to hearsay. Remember the kids' hearsay that you wouldn't listen to? Yeah, that got them killed. But you'll listen to this hearsay. Uh huh. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.